Hello, everybody. So, this is going to be a video breaking down the abortion issue in the United States because, Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned and abortion is going to be made illegal in most of the country. So, I wanted to talk about sort of how the political debate works for both sides because I see both sides kind of talking past each other. So I'm going to start with what the average view is if you just pick anyone off the street. The most common view in America is first trimester is okay. And after that, only in cases of, rape, incest, and mother's life and fetus's life. Like, and Americans are split down the middle apparently on like late term abortions for diseased fetuses or mentally retarded fetuses. So that's the average view. And if you go around the world, most of the world, including like Germany and France, they have stricter rules on abortion than the United States after Roe v. Wade. Only Canada is more liberal than the United States on abortion. So, really, one of the main problems with the abortion issue in the United States is that it's been dealt with by the Supreme Court, and so that means that a middle route isn't on the table. Like, the common view is some middle road, but that's not on the table. So you're going to go all the way back now to the point of viability being allowed. So even the morning after pill will be illegal under that. And under the reasoning of the opinion, you can dismantle other rights to privacy under the 14th Amendment. So, for example, the right to contraception can go away. The right to gay marriage can go away, along with other things. So it's a pretty huge deal. And because it's the Supreme Court, we have this pendulum where it goes from being completely legal to completely illegal. And it's just really unfortunate for the Supreme Court to have to deal with anything, but especially an issue where most of the public won't fully get what they want. So I'll break down sort of first the pro-life side. So for the pro-life side, it starts with what is a human and what is a person. And since that is a gray scale, they go all the way back to the point of viability, or to the point of conception and fertilization, because that's when the genetic code is formed, and that's when sort of the organism comes into existence. So they feel like if humans are to have rights at all, then they should have rights from the beginning, from the moment of conception. And yeah, so basically, one of the main problems with the pro-choice side is that there's no unified retort to that. You ask, what is a human? What is a person? When should people have rights? And the arguments that you can use for late-term abortion applies to fetuses too a lot of the time. So under the law, under Roe v. Wade, it's been the point of viability outside the womb. So basically, when the fetus can survive outside the womb, that's when you can't abort anymore. But before that, it's the woman's body still. And so she can choose to terminate. So, but most people, the problem with the viability argument is that the point of viability moves with technology, and someday it should be possible to nurture human embryos from the point of conception. And so even like it's just weird because it's like, so it depends on the point of viability, depends on when you were born, so your rights depend on technology or availability of technology. It's kind of strange, but still a lot of people hold that view. However, the more common view is first trimester. And that's because the fetus doesn't have a brain or anything like that. So, can't process pain or feelings or thoughts or anything. Whereas a newborn can, even though a newborn baby is very unintelligent, compared even to animals. So, So, for the pro life side, I want to talk about the history of it because I find with ideas and especially political ideas, looking at the history can tell you a lot about it. And the pro life side basically comes from the Catholic Church more than anything else. And the Catholic Church didn't used to always be against abortion. It happened in the 1800s. So the Catholic Church didn't have rules against abortion or a pro-life stance until the 1800s, which sounds like a long time ago. But for the Catholic Church, it's not a long time ago. So it's very recent for the Catholic Church. And if you ask them, they say that's because technology has advanced, science has advanced. And so Thomas Aquinas, for example, St. Thomas Aquinas, when he wrote his opinion on abortion, which allowed early abortions, that was because they couldn't detect the fetus. They didn't have microscopes and all that. So they went with the time of quickening, when the mother can feel the baby moving, I believe is what their thing was. But the pro-life view really comes from the 1800s. And if you ask me, I think personally, the pro-life side is tied into the anti-contraception side and like the anti-feminist side also, because really, if you get away from the argument about the fetus itself, abortion, the issue, a lot of it is about women's freedom and the possibility of feminism, and also the women's ability to be promiscuous also is tied into that. So by having abortion illegal, you can encourage abstinence for people who are unmarried or people who don't want kids, which is the religious view. That's the world that they want. So I think personally, it's not really about the fetus. It's about controlling women and making it hard for women to behave like men, basically, and make their own, and basically be free to be promiscuous, and also Yeah, and also be free from having to get married or be dependent on a man after you get pregnant and all that. Now, just as the pro-life side is tied into anti-feminism, the pro-choice side is tied into feminism. It has to do with a women's right to bodily autonomy. Um, and that side is about as old as the pro-life side because, like I said, it's really, if you get past the stuff about the fetus, because a fetus is so, I mean, if I had to argue it to a religious person, I would say that God kills fetuses so carelessly and callously that it seems ridiculous to argue that they're people or human. Like, it's it's a seed, but a seed and a plant, a seed and a sapling and a plant and a tree are all different things. Like a fern and a tree, like each each stage of its development is distinct. But the problem is that it's hard to draw a line anywhere, and so conception or fertilization is like a really decisive moment, probably the most decisive moment in terms of like when the organism first comes into existence. So it's an easy argument to make, but I don't think anyone, when they came up with the pro-life thing in the Catholic Church, it wasn't about caring about those cells and mourning miscarriages the way you would a lost baby and all that, or a lost person. It's more to do with making sure that sexual liberation doesn't occur and that chastity is encouraged. So basically, that'll summarize the video, is that it's not really about the fetus, in my opinion, because it just seems like, would you really go through all of this for things that can't think or feel or breathe or see? It's from the Catholic Church, so it's very came top down. Like, it's an extreme view to hold for even the morning after pill to be the same as murder, which is what the law will be in Louisiana now. And, that's an extreme view to hold. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that it ties into anti feminism and keeping women sexually controlled. So, yeah, cool. Thank you.